Okay, so today I'm going to guide you through an assignment. So you will have to complete this as I complete it. I have my computer set at a full screen so that you can see everything I'm doing. Um, so you need to have the Excel document up and do it at the same time that I do it. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open this document. So we're going to delete column C. Okay, so you can click anywhere in column C and you see C is highlighted up here. So we're going to click up here on C. You see when you've got the mouse over it, it becomes a bold arrow pointing down. You left click, you right click, and we're going to click delete. Okay, so now you have a new column C. So it's right here. All right, so now we're going to write a function that's going to, in cell C12, so we're going to click right here. That's where we want to put the formula. And we're going to calculate the total for the range of cells from C5 to C11. So remember, there's two ways you can do this. You can do this by actually writing the formula, or because it is adding a range, we're going to go up here and we're going to click AutoSum. Remember, work smarter, not harder. It writes the formula for you. Remember, that is a function. And you press enter, and there is your answer. Okay, so now we're going to format this data here in year 1 as currency. So I'm going to select. So what I did is I left click on cell C5. I'm holding the left click and I'm going to drag it down to cell C12. I'm going to click up here and I'm going to click the $sign. So it's now formatted as currency. Okay, so I'm going to copy this formula right here in cell C12 over to cell D12. I'm sorry, in cell C12 to D12. Okay, so I'm going to click back on C12. I'm going to go to the bottom right corner till it's the plus sign. That is also called a fill handle, F-I-L-L handle. You're going to left click, hold it, and drag it over one to the right. Okay, now do not panic. As you can see, I have all of those hashtags, or as we old people call it, number signs as well. What that means is this cell is not, this cell right here, is not big enough for all of these numbers. There are more numbers than what will fit in this cell. So the fix is super easy. You go up here to columns D and D, go right between them. See where it has the line with the directional arrows? You double click, and voila, problem solved. Okay, so we're also going to select from D5 down to D11, and we're going to make that currency as well. Okay, so it's easy so far, right? Okay, so there is a accounting border already in place right here in cell E12. See how it has the double line? That is called an accounting border. So we're going to select cells C12 and D12 because we only want to do this one time. It's kind of ridiculous to do it over and over. We're going to click here for borders, and I don't see one that just, well, we'll just do it easy. Top and double bottom border. There you go. There's your accounting border. Boom. All right, so in cell F4, so we're going to click over here in F4, and we're going to type in percent, P-E-R-C-E-N-T, of total sales. Okay, so now we're going to change the cell to wrap the text. So I'm going to click in F4 and I'm going to just click wrap text. Okay, so that's pretty easy, right? So we're going to format the column as a percent. So we're going to click right here and we're going to click percent. And we want to have 1 decimal place. I never get this right. See, this is decrease decimal. I want to increase the decimal by 1. Okay, so I'm going to apply a single line border to cell F4. So this is right here. I want a single border. So I just want the bottom border, okay? It's pretty easy, right? We are just like breezing right through this, easy breezy. Okay, so I want to calculate the total computer sales for year 2, how much the year 2 sales contributed to the total sales for all items in the same year. So that's a very wordy way of saying I want to know the percent of sales computers were to that entire year. Okay, so what you're going to do, and I hope you know how to do the math part because that'll make the rest of this so easy. So this will be equals, and I'm going to divide this. So my computer sales divide, which is the backslash, by the total sales. Okay, so when I press that, it says 26.387. Now I only want one decimal place, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight all this. I'm going to decrease that decimal place to 1. Okay, so let's see what happens when I drag it. I want to go ahead and get all that formula down here. But oh my gosh, look at that hot mess. That is very much telling me I did something wrong. Okay, so I'm just going to delete that. So here's what happened. Let me do it again and show you. So when I did that, remember this is a relative reference. So it went down to D6 and it said, oh, let me go down the next one over here. It went to here and there's nothing there. So we'd have to do an absolute reference. So an absolute means I want it to absolutely always go back to this cell right here. Okay. So now when I go to the fill handle and drag it, it will always divide this for year 2 right here. So it's dividing year 2 digital camera by the total sales for that year. So I know when I look at this, my biggest my biggest moneymaker were computers, followed by very closely between digital cameras and PDAs. Now, this is kind of old. PDAs are kind of a thing of the past. So we'll just pretend that that's a smartphone. Let's just go ahead and change it to smartphone. There you go. Because PDAs, y'all don't even know what that is. Okay, so you see how you can use a relative reference to change something and an absolute reference to make things stay the same. All right, so and please pay attention to that because one of the questions you're going to have to answer today is why did you have to use an absolute reference? And you have to use an absolute reference because when you use the relative one, you get an error because everything shifts and it shifts to divide by nothing, and you can't divide by nothing. Okay, so we're going to insert a new column after column B. So we're going to click right here on column C, and I'm going to I left click on column C, and I right click, and I'm going to click insert. Okay, and that's going to put it right here before it. So yes, so that's exactly where I want it to be. So sorry, my error. Okay, so this column heading is going to be unit price, unit, UNIT-PRICE. All right, so did you notice how cool that is? It already put the border in there. And that's because you put it in between something that's already existing. So it knows, oh, okay, this is the format you want me to use. I've got this. All right, so we're going to put some unit prices in. We're going to say it's computer $799, a camera's $275, flash drive is $25. That's kind of high. Back then, that was the standard price, but now you can get flash drives pretty cheap. $299, $485. Okay, so all of the totals in case you can't read it. Computer was $799, digital camera $275. A flash drive, $25, an inkjet cartridge, $75, an inkjet printer, $575, a smartphone, $299, which is like unheard of. They're like $600 and $700, and a scanner for $485. And who needs scanners anymore? We have copiers that do it all. Okay, how technology has changed. Okay, so we're going to format this column. And I hope you remember when I say this, we're going to format it to currency. So I'm hoping you say this along with me. So as I say it, I'm hoping you go like, yeah. Just be quiet. I've already got this. I'm going to select right here. Come over here and press the dollar sign. Now it's formatted for currency. How amazingly easy. Okay. In cell H4, we're going to type in the word quantity. Q-U-A-N-T-I-T-Y. You know, quantity is another word for number, like the number of something. Okay. Now look, you see over here, it did not put the borders in. So we're going to go ahead and put that bottom border in. So I'm going to click, and then because I've used this, it's right here at the top, bottom border. All right, so we're going to put some quantities in. I saw 5 computers, 900 digital cameras, 150 flash drives, 13 inkjets, 13 cartridges, 25 inkjets, 575 smartphones, and 500 scanners. Well, now this is just all a hot mess. Well, I messed up. Should be 150, 13, 25, 575, and 500. Sorry. So this is a mess. It thinks that this is a currency. How silly. So we're going to highlight this. See, it automatically changes, and we're going to change it to general. Now we have our numbers. Okay. In cell I4, we're going to type total, T-O-T-A-L, price, P-R-I-C-E, press enter. Now we have to wrap it because if you notice, it's kind of like half on the next line, next column. So we're just going to clip wrap text and that should fix our problem. We're going to put another border. Super easy, right? Okay, so we're going to write a formula so that we can calculate the total price. All right, so we have 5 computers on hand. Each computer costs $799. So if you wanted to do the math for that, let's say, what would you have to do? I'm going to pretend that I hear you saying $799 times 5, Miss House. So that's what I'm going to do, except it's even easier. I'm not going to do the math. I'm going to make the computer do it for me. Equals my $799, but I don't put the number in. I use the cell reference times the little asterisk on the number pad of the keyboard, and then the quantity, which is H5. You do not put numbers in because if you do, then if I change my numbers, it's going to just mess everything up. Okay, so press enter, and look, it does the math for me. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to here. And this we want to be a relative reference because when I copy it down to here, let me show you. So I'm going to go to the fill handle and drag it on down. And remember, what do the hashtags mean? Again, I'll pretend I hear you saying, Miss House, that column's not big enough. And it's not. So we're going to go up here between I and J and double click. And wow, look at there, it's so much better already. Okay, so it's automatically formatted for currency because it figures, hey, I'm multiplying a currency times an amount. This is going to be a currency. Okay, so this is a relative reference because you see as the cell position changes, the items that are multiplying change from here to here, and then down here it changes to this one and this one. So I'm hoping you get a really, really good grasp of relative reference and absolute reference. Okay, so column A, right here. I'm going to type in the word average. Okay, so in column C, we want to calculate the average price of these items. Okay, so there's a couple of ways you can do this. One, you can type it in. Yeah, you can do that. That's a little complicated. Equals average. Oh, look, it's not that hard. So I'm going to click average right here. But, whoop, I didn't tell it what else I wanted it to do. So it's telling me, hey, yo, silly head. All right, so I'm just going to click the FX right here, insert a function. I'm going to type in average. Anytime there's like a wizard, always use it. Okay, so I'm going to double click average and look at there. It's asking me what to do. Okay, so number one, only pay attention to this number one right here. Ignore number two completely. All right, so number one, I want it to be from C5 to C11, and I click OK. There's my average. So this is my average price of the items that we have. Pretty easy, right? Okay, so under average, we're going to type in highest. Okay, and under highest, we're going to type in lowest. Okay, we're almost done. We're in the home stretch, you guys. Okay, so now we're going to type, this is the max function, remember? So again, I did my insert function. I'm going to click max. And see, it knows max. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Equals max, open parentheses. I wanted to figure out the max of this range only, close parentheses, and I'm done. The lowest is the minimum, equals min, open parentheses. Here's my range, close parentheses, and I'm done. All right, so that's pretty easy, right? Not hard one little bit. Okay, so we're going to readjust this title because you see the titles over here. So these two, so they're merged and centered, so we have to click it again to unmerge them. Now we're going to click A2, and I'm holding the left click, and I'm going to drag it over to I2. And I'm going to click merge and center because that'll fix the hot mess. I'm clicking A1, and I'm going to left click and hold it and drag it over to I1. And I'm going to click merge and center to fix that. So it's all centered and pretty. Because, you know, Miss House is one of those symmetrical kind of people. All right. So we're going to sort the data in descending order by net change. So this is a little bit different. So we're going to click on A5, and we're going to select, and I'm holding the left click. I still haven't let go, see? And I'm going to select over to I11. Now I'm going to click on data, and I'm going to click sort. Descending. What does descending mean with? I'm hoping you realize descending means start with the highest and go by the lowest. So we want to sort by the net change, okay? And we want to go from descending, largest to smallest, okay? And you click OK. You see it's sorted for you. So you realize that digital cameras had the biggest increase, your biggest loser. And I hate that word, but it's really the truth. In this case, computers were where you lost the most money. And the way you know that is it's in parentheses. So anything in parentheses when you use a formula means it's a negative number. So in computers, you had negative sales. Year one, you sold way more than you did in year two. In year two, you sold $17,000 less than you did in year one. All right, so everything is pretty easy, right? Super gravy, super nice. Page layout. So you're going to click orientation. You're going to choose landscape. And then you can see like these little dashes appear. This is just telling you the areas, you know, where your borders are. If it's outside of this, it would be on another page. If it's outside of it down here, that will be another page as well. So then you're going to show me your formulas. You'll press Control and the tilde thing, which is the number, which is the key beside the 1, the button to the left of that. Okay, then you're going to do File. Let's try that again. File. Now my computer is going to get crazy. Save as. Let's try this again. Okay, click Browse. Oh, my computer is so slow. Okay, you'll click Google Drive. Leave it as an Excel workbook. And you're going to save this as Excel IP spreadsheet formatting. basics, and you'll click save. Okay, so I hope you got through this assignment. It's really, really easy. You just had to use the video so you could complete it. Show me your formulas, complete your daily closing, and you are good to go. Have a great day.